Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Red Deemer, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition story. Now, let's pop over here to... Aha. A little adjustment. There we go. Hi, howdy. As per usual in the workshop, however, there's a difference on Tuesdays, as it's not quite as freeform. It isn't just me who gets to talk for as long as I may or may not be able to. So remember, everyone, on Tuesdays, I may keep things going, or I might not be actively reading out chat as much as I do in our workshops, and we will be having a VTM workshop week for the next 3 weeks as I introduce the game, explore it with you, we'll build characters, and I'll teach you how to make your own story similar to the Red Deemer. But hey, come back in the workshops Wednesday through Friday. Saturdays we hang out at the store after hours. And participate, learn, explore, try a new game, such as Vampire the Masquerade. Anyway, as you can see, we have everything set and ready to go. Oh, I'm sorry. One quick thank you for the first-time chatters and the followers. And we will have mods in chat here as well to welcome you all, or to say thanks to any of you who raid in the future later. But yes. So, I'm going quickly. I'm excited. I'm full of energy. As you can see, my blood is pumping, and it is going to be a fun night here. Let's start delving into it. I've introduced myself. Now let's get into our players. We'll have a little bit of table talk, as we normally will, and probably as you all do out there when you get together to play whichever role-playing games that you do. Let's open up. Okay. Nope. All right. That's all ready. So they can hear me. You can hear me. We can all hear each other and interact. So let's start out here with KH Darkwolf, who is going to be playing Cheryl here tonight. So hi, Darkwolf. Fancy
Hello.
meeting you.
Yeah, it's great to play with you for the first time ever.
Yeah. It's actually, it's been a while. It's been over a year, right? Our last Chroma Company game ended last July, not this past, but last July. So I hope that you will, as the baby, as the fledgling, the first timer to Vampire here, I hope that you will really appreciate it, and thank you for stepping up to play, and I guess trusting me with this system that's a little bit outside of your normal. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about here, or should I move on?
Oh, you can go ahead.
Okay, then
everyone knows me.
let's go down the line. And by the way, you all might notice, if you are if you have been steeped in the world of darkness here. So I'm in this first box here because, as the storyteller, the ST, I am God. Thank you and you're welcome. And then we have the next closest thing to God, which is the Ventru. And then we keep going high clan high to low clan low as we move on to our Toreador next, who is only slightly less tolerable than the Ventru. So Clyde, played by Spectre Deflector. So Specs, thank you very much for playing, for joining. Now this is the first time I've run for you, though you had a cameo in the D&D game.
Yes, I did. Way back when, during Chroma Company, I played as Miss Mercury, who you recall was quite a interesting little villain. But otherwise, you may occasionally see me throughout the Hero Zone as the once-in-a-lifetime lurker that may or may not post, might even post some art, and in addition to that, you'll mostly find me with Coffee Cat Presents as one of the regular players, both for the return of Zubiwow as a universe on the Thursday game, which is Rebirth, and then Also on Wednesday, in another vampire game, which, if I remember right, is Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas.
Yep, called Blood and Iron.
Ah, there he is.
Blood and Iron.
Blood and Iron. But for this game tonight, I'm here in Cleveland, Ohio, playing as the one and only Clyde McCoy, your race car driver, and local heartthrob.
Oh, I forgot to do a little woo for Cheryl here. This is Dark Wolf's character. So, all right, we shall move on to Malkavians as we slip into the low clans. But at least you're in the high low. You're the medium tier as far as the rankings of the kindred are concerned in the social jockeying of the afterlife. Though before we meet Ivy, let's meet Ravenstar. Hi, Raven.
Hi. Well, I am the second favorite mod in the channel, so Woo obviously being first.
What now?
Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm Raven. You guys can see me floating around here most often, being my natural smartass self in chat. Granted, toned down quite a bit for Patty's PG-13 rating. You can also find me playing in Coffee Cat's sequel to Chronicle Company, Rebirth alongside Spectre, and then in another VTM game on Sundays, Macabre Derek, San Jose by Night. And then I also do my own streaming, which is on hold at the moment due to IRL bullshit. So.
And thank you for, well, as stressful as it is, and I mean, it's that stupid IRL stuff that gets in the way of us having fun together.
Oh yeah.
I still appreciate you doing that and taking time to spend time. So we'll let's see. You got to get a shout out too. Can I get a shout out to Ravenstar in chat, please? Who does stream as well.
I will shout myself out. Never.
So for some photo editing, for some Dead by Daylight, and could be seen on some other streams as well. All right, I will give you a shout out myself then. Raven_star. Raven_star. Oh, I misspelled you the first time. RAYVEN_star. Yeah, I did it the second time. There we go. All right. So, and now, and this is the first time that you've played in a game that I've run. Though
that is correct.
You were present for most of the D&D games, and even probably hanging out as you could for the Cyberpunk and Alien RPG. So I'm not new to you as a presenter, but as the overarching storyteller here. I hope to have fun with you, and now you get the first-hand experience. Now let's go over last, and depending on who you ask in the Camarilla, the least. We have our Nosferatu Wade, played by Dark Druid Productions, possibly known because he was lurking here before as Sylvanov, but Dark Druid Productions here, in the flesh, as saggy as as saggy as it is. Thank you for joining us, Dark Druid, and do you want to talk a little bit about yourself, your channel, or about you as the player before we get
I
into
am
the
ecstatic as can be to have finally broken the forever storyteller curse that I seem to have lived for the last 22 years. It's a pleasure to be sitting at your table, Maddie, and I can't wait to dive in and get my fingers dirty and everything else dirty that I can possibly do. It's time to put the stain and the dumpster fire on somebody else's table, and thank you for the opportunity, sir. And it's a pleasure to sit down with these fine players. I can't wait to see what happens next.
I hope to give you a very tolerable experience. That's as far as my warranty will go, unfortunately. We'll we'll plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Wade will make no warranties given, no warranties taken.
And as you might have heard in the background, and did receive a shout out here, we do have an official lurker, who is Coffee Cat Presents, who is going to be my co-ST, and is the demigod, to me being the actual godhead here of the story.
Hello.
Thank you as usual for stepping up and working behind the scenes. To actually be the paranoia that everyone in the world of darkness has. Did something just move? Was that always written on the wall? These questions and more, as someone who you may not see but is always well, I don't know.
I do play a Nosferatu myself, just so you know.
There might be a chance Ivy might somehow know about you, but that's a whole other issue. Anyway, welcome everyone. So here's our landing page. This hopefully has given you enough time to settle in, to get ready. The disclaimer now before we get into the full swing of things. I normally present PG-13 at worst content. Nights like tonight, as we did with Cyberpunk and Alien RPG, in Vampire the Masquerade, this is a more mature-themed game. We are going to stay within Twitch terms of service, and of course this is going to be on YouTube later, so there's that too. However, if you're used to how I present in the workshop or otherwise, this is not just the concepts I explore or the language I use. My players, through their characters, are also welcome to, well, be a part of this world of darkness. There is probably going to be some rather cynical takes on society, and there's going to be a lot of intensity. Well, it could be argued that vampires are an interesting distillation of the human condition.
It's no fairy tale.
And we want to give you, and especially if this is your first time watching or being a part of a vampire game, while this is a starter game, I still want you to, I want you to be blooded. I want you to understand the concepts that take place in this setting. The language or the views. It doesn't mean we can't have fun or there may not be a laugh here or there. But just remember, this is a more mature theme. Anyway, we are now going to get into our characters, and to do that, we're going to feature 4 spotlights. So it'll be a vignette of scenes where you all are going to get to meet the vampires in a one-on-one as we look into a typical night. Where we are going to find everyone is in Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome, everyone. Nice big city, the biggest city in Ohio, right on Lake Erie. A lot of technology, a lot of industry. Well, as you saw in that opening movie, it's a city of light and water. Sports teams play here. Tourists visit. Parks galore, businesses of all manner. Now, that might be the Cleveland that you're used to, or maybe you saw a parody of in the Drew Carey show or in other places. But the Cleveland that you are now entering is a little bit different. It doesn't have a mayor, it has a prince. And in this case, we have Prince Amias Bradstreet. And for now, maybe that's all that you need to know, because that's already, between you and me, you probably shouldn't even know that unless you're on the other side. But it is going to be a night in July. In fact, July 2023. So not too long ago from, well, it's mid August currently. So we're going to go back about a month or so. present day, present city, present considerations. This is a modern setting. And while things like mobile phones are very useful, there is a problem with that for vampires. As well, if you look at even just this one, that has 5 different cameras on it. And did you know with this thing, I can zoom up to 100 times? I can take slow motion video anytime I want, right out of my pocket. You know, walking down the street, you see all sorts of crazy stuff in the real world showing up on YouTube or TikTok or other places. And that's a problem for vampires. Especially in a city like Cleveland that abides by the tenets of the Camarilla. And under a rather strict prince who enforces it. Or at least is the executive of those traditions of the Cam. Because being a vampire has a lot of benefits. The drawback, however, is that you can never be discovered for those benefits. Because the world isn't kind to humans themselves amongst each other. And if there is an actual monster among them, well, almost nothing can be a more polarizing force than a common enemy. And so in this world of convenience, of being able to travel anywhere around the world within 24 hours, or being able to go across the water, over the water, under it, where you can speak to people instantaneously through all kinds of measures. It's the same world, but a different one for our vampires. And they have to unlive in it. And they have to walk among us, even. Which is a little sus, if you ask me. Anyway, let's discover how our vampires go about that. The first of our spotlights is going to fall upon Cheryl. Now, Cheryl, you have woken up in your apartment. The sun has already set. In fact, I'm curious, Cheryl, what is your humanity at right now as we meet you?
How do I read this?
It's not a roll, just on the humanity track, how many squares are filled up?
None of them are filled.
Oh, that might be a problem.
Default is 7.
Yeah, default 7.
No one tells me anything.
Well, Clyde, Ivy, and Wade, it was nice knowing you, but there is actually a true monster among you.
Quick question. What is her predator type? Because that does take effect
Same
on...
thing.
Yeah, there's only special considerations. Default is 7.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm at 7.
All right, not too shabby. Now maybe before your embrace, before the kiss. Oh, that sounds very romantic, but it's not always the case. You're still holding on to a goodly portion of what we mere humans would consider to be humanity. You can act in a humane way. You may not always give in to your feral nature. That, well, as of these past nights, since you've become a vampire, it's certainly been a contest of will. As there are urges that you have that, maybe it's not even that you didn't have them before in life, but they could be amplified now. And as you leave your apartment and you go walking to work, you do pass by, well, the same places you did in life. Just, 2 years ago you were alive? The same restaurants, the same lights, the same people, drinking their drinks, walking their dogs. And I'm curious, in this moment, as you take this turn, the sun is set, obviously, as you've developed quite an allergy to it. A very acute allergy recently. What are your thoughts, Cheryl, as you see people eating their summertime burgers, maybe some fresh fried perch from the lake, or they hold their precious little lapdogs alongside them as they demand to speak to the manager about one thing or another. What are your thoughts here?
My thoughts are not on these people because I am going through my phone, checking my work emails, replying, getting things done on my way to work because I'm efficient. And it's more efficient to use my time walking and getting things done instead of caring what other people are doing.
Now, I'm curious, Cheryl, because I have to be the bad guy here as the storyteller. I have to be the pessimistic one so that you can get to work and just try to have one more night. Are these people? Or are they food? Are they things that are lower than you in some way?
These people, they're not. I don't consider them meat, but they're not just food. They're pawns in the game of making.
I believe it was early on after your embrace when your sire, actually your boss of all people, had to teach you the ways of this new life. That now that you are a kindred, there's another name for the contents of the buffet through which you're currently walking. Very beautiful buffet too. All the plants are set out. It's very well lit. But as you walk through this buffet, the kindred refer to these people as kine, which is an archaic term for cattle. And while you may be disregarding them, and obviously you have your priorities, I wonder if that hasn't become more and more apparent over the time that you've spent now on the other side of life. But enough of that. Enough teasing. I've presented you an opportunity to muse, to wonder, to either pity or yourself or the humans that are here enjoying their night. It's time for you to get to work. Now we have the Quick and Eerie Loan Building, a beautiful addition to the Cleveland skyline. A financial institution that has really rocketed in popularity, and well, your employer, and in fact, not even just an employer. Oh no, you get the special ID card. You get to go to the special floors up here, these nice red floors, in the very patriotic red, white, and blue display here. Not just for, Independence Day, that's come and gone, but the city is planning a celebration to celebrate its birthday, which is in late July. So the lights have stayed, and here you are entering at a street level. Are you still ignoring everyone as you pass by, or perhaps there's a security working the front there that you decide to speak to, or?
I never bothered to speak to them before. I'm not going to bother now.
Then, as you
what
are,
they do not concern me. I just have to get to the office and get to my desk.
you are greeted with a Miss Page as you scan your ID and you enter the building. The employees here, well, this isn't prime time hours, but there is a considerable night shift that works, considering that there are loans that originate from this place that, all around the country and even beyond. So really, this is a 24-hour operation, which is a benefit to your current condition. But as you go through, maybe especially because the night shift is smaller, they know each other maybe a little bit more because there's not as many, or they have a mutual respect for, well, we're third shifters, we're the graveyard shift, wah wah. As they talk amongst each other, or they go into their corporate Slack channels and complain about this or that. In your opinion, Executive Assistant Page, are you respected, feared, loved, or you don't? It doesn't matter at all because it doesn't.
Now, these people, these kind, I care a little bit more because this is my actual work. And they fear me. They know that if they need to talk to the boss, they have to go through the boss. And there's not many good kids.
In fact, I believe that tonight you are going to be giving an evaluation to someone. So, well, as they step out of your way, voices hush. The seas part for you, Cheryl Page, as you walk through the lobby to the elevator. In fact, out of courtesy, which it's not just courtesy, anyone who is going to get aboard that same elevator decides to not ride up to the top with you. And you scan your card and begin your ascent. It takes a little while. Pleasant enough music. You're getting a pretty good view of the city as you continue your rise to the top. Now that you get to look down on it more and more, do you have any particular thoughts about the place in which you reside?
I look to the top of the elevator and just make a note that a janitor missed comp.
You can't get good help these days. This is clearly going to be reported to Eric, or, I'm sorry, Mr. Hayes. You don't go quite to the top yet. Almost. But not the penthouse suite. As you step out into the there we go. Into the top few floors, in order to keep everyone closer together, it's a smaller working pool. There are people who are at their desks, working. Maybe a couple of them are getting off of shift or going on break. And similar to the people who might, more of the people who were on their way out for this shift who parted for you. The ones up here, they may still fear you, but the people who work late at night are a different breed. Certainly stranger. I don't know anyone who'd be working this late after the sun's gone down, even until the sun goes up. That's really weird and extremely unhealthy. Though they don't have the luxury of parting. They don't have to recognize you, I suppose. But now that you are walking not just among a random family having a late meal out, or, you know, a dad and his son after a baseball game who went out for a burger and are sitting out on the patio, these are your people. And that's probably in the most possessive of terms, these are your people. Describe to me what you're doing in the office pool here after you, I guess, walk out of the elevator. You would have a desk here as the kind of the ultimate supervisor and you can go up to the CEO suite, of course, to bring up paperwork or to escort someone or something. But you're the boss of this floor, effectively. People have a problem, they come to you. If people need something in particular, I mean, more than what a team lead, if it's a technical issue, but if there's a problem, you are the problem solver. That was both why you were hired and why you were embraced, honestly. So, as you get to work, I don't know, you're walking, you're talking, you're working. How does the beginning of your evening go?
Since this is more closely my herd, I do interact with them a little more. I get the business, I get the information that was passed down from the previous shift. I make sure everything's in order. I let people know that if anyone needs anything, I'm here now. And I sit down to my desk to finish checking my emails and finish organizing things for them.
All right. It's not quite time yet for the employee review. However, you do know that you need to confer with not just your boss, but your sire before that. Especially because, well, I heard you made mention that these are members of your herd. All the more reason that the mortals are referred to as kine, as cattle. As he and or you might be feeling a little peckish, and unfortunately, the water cooler, the coffee pot, a pack of crackers hidden in a desk drawer at work, that ain't gonna cut it for you. But you also need to confer with your boss. And so, you walk back to the elevator. Do you glance over people's shoulders? Do you see what they're working on, or if they're working, or if they hastily close a Slack channel, or they use these dumb programs like Discord or whatever? Are they watching TikToks on the clock?
I'm not super micromanaging about it, but I don't lean in. But as I walk by, I do make side glances just to make sure no one's playing Galaga. No one's watching things they shouldn't be watching at work.
Tell you what. Let's have you actually, let's see if you catch someone doing that. Go ahead, Cheryl, and I'm going to have you roll a wits perception in order to glance and see if you notice anything happening. This is kind of just a quick look around. This is not any kind of investigation of, what were you just talking about there on this platform or the other? This is... Do you see anything?
Would this be awareness?
Yes, wits and
yes.
awareness.
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting my systems crossed.
I don't know how to roll this.
Alright. Hit the dice next to awareness. It's gonna pop
Oh, there. Sorry, it was
from
it
the
popped up
drop
under
down.
the.
Yeah, from the drop down menu, select wits, and then hit submit.
What's the difficulty on?
We're just seeing if you succeed.
Yeah, just type in 0 for that.
Okay, hold on. There we go.
Okay. Nothing in particular comes to, maybe everyone is actually working, or, nothing egregious has caught your attention. Into the elevator you go, and up, up, up. Now, let's see. I should have... something. Let's find your boss here. Let's find Eric. Someone who's a little bit stoic. There we go. Every childer's crazy for a sharp-dressed man. There we go. Cheryl, good evening.
Good evening. Shall I go through the business report or evaluation?
We'll save the evaluation for last. I'd rather get upset first and, well... I don't like being hangry, but I appreciate the challenge it presents. So yes, I think I'm going to need a breakdown of those numbers. What do you have for me?
And Cheryl would pull out the report that she had typed up just moments ago, giving a brief overview of what day shift have gotten done, what the last night shift has finished, what they're working on currently, and whatever numbers need to be addressed as well.
That's not directed at you, but I would actually encourage, if you haven't been practicing your size, to do so. There's a particular appearance that you have to upkeep, of course. In fact, I don't know if that's just your makeup. Did you remember to blush before leaving?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm in a bit of a bind, Cheryl. I received some news about a competitor of ours. I believe you're very familiar with them. It's that damn Seraph Securities in Detroit. He's rolling out a new product, and it's going to be quite the competition here. And you are newer at this than I am. You're a little bit more connected with what it is that the people who use my money might appreciate. And he gets up and he starts pacing a little bit back and forth, arms clasped behind his back. He goes over to the window, looks outside. A lot of this seems very rote. This is maybe to anyone else in this building, this would have them tense up. They would be sweating. Well, number one, you don't sweat anymore, and number two, you've seen this many times, even before he embraced you. And boy, what a scandalous workplace relationship that would be if it got out. I try, Cheryl. I really do. It's tough to find motivation, especially among the younger people. The ones who might be the up-and-coming, the ones who need their first houses, their first businesses. I need something flashy, stylish. And I've been around the block a few times, and I know how I come across, as I believe you do too. And that's why I hired you, in more ways than one. But still, I always need to try and be relatable. As a figurehead, it's important. And this is a lesson you must learn. And he walks over here. For example, I try to show connection to the kind by keeping these decorations, these liquors, the various art pieces that are contemporary. I see them in the various corporate channels that I flow in, but especially to have that bond with the commoners. He reaches up and grabs a bottle of barbecue sauce that he keeps on proud display on his cabinets in order to show that he's a type of boss you can really connect with, and not just a detached billionaire. Without a beating heart at that. He turns it over, and you see it's the new brand. Sweet Rabies Bay has a picture of a country girl anthropomorphized raccoon. Slogan that says, "So good you'll foam at the mouth." This, Cheryl. This is the culture. This is what these degenerates buy. He's showing you like a big tittied raccoon girl on a barbecue sauce. Daisy Duke shorts, got the hat, the straw hat and everything. This is our consumer base. And he places it right back up on the shelf. And so it got me thinking. These are the people that we need, whether we like it or not. We rely on them and they rely on us. We must keep them fed as they feed us. And so in order to compete with Seraph, who, as you know, I have no love lost for, and quite frankly, he might argue otherwise, but my tower is bigger than his. I want you to choose between these two designs. And he holds two up. This is for their new... this is for the new product line. Called Red Rocket Mortgages. Features a nice little spaceship blasting off into the future. One of them is a very classic, maybe a very throwback design. Possibly if retro is the new future. It would look like something you'd see out of a nice sci-fi B movie. The other one looks a lot more, we'll say, phallic in nature. Now, given that Sweet Rabies Bay is what is the hotness, and this is what everyone eats up, in your opinion, for our Red Rocket mortgages, what do you think will really tie these people to us?
Well, I am unfortunately not part of the younger generation, so I cannot say for certain, but there's one of those that will definitely get us a lot more negative publicity than
Publicity is publicity. Negativity is subjective. And which one do you choose, then?
that's for this one. Why don't we have a focus group?
Ah. I could use a little focus myself. In fact, I believe we're going to be entertaining one such person. I'll tell you what, and he places the drawings out there. Why don't you go fetch this employee, and we'll chew the fat. We'll talk it over. And you are dismissed to go back to the office pool. Tell me, Cheryl, who are you bringing back up to the CEO penthouse suite?
Now, Cheryl keeps things very organized, and she has a list of each of the employees on the night shift and how long it has been since their last evaluation, so they know which one is in need. So she would check the list and check the person who hasn't had the evaluation in the longest period of time. I don't have a name, so I can jam one up real quick if need be.
Sure. Who are you grabbing from the office pool?
It's going to be a Brittany Dunn.
Brittany Dunham?
Gunda.
Gundam?
Gunda.
Gunda. Brittany Gunda.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You arrive, and Brittany is absolutely, like, she is shaking. In the elevator ride, she was asking you all kinds of questions. Am I in trouble? What's this for? Is there anything that I should or shouldn't say in front of Mr. Hayes? I thought my report's in just absolutely a nervous wreck.
And Cheryl will just say, no, this is just our semi-annual evaluation. Every employee goes through one of these. Well, every good employee goes through one of these. So there's nothing to worry about. We just want to review and tell you what we expect from you moving forward.
Thank you. Yes, well, hey, if every good employee gets these, then I have to be a good employee, right?
Of course. I won't get into your numbers here. That's for Mr. Hayes. But, go on.
As Brittany is
Follow?
guided to the seat across the desk here, you stand at the right hand of your father? Kind of. Your sire, who is kind of, but not really, but kind of.
Not mine.
And the questions begin as they always do. Some niceties, and your boss, your sire, speaks with a very calming voice. Now, you know that this is how he was trying to teach you about your own demeanor, your own presence or control within the office and over other people. You're getting to witness it in front of you, as over the course of this interview, through some small talk and some small laughter as well, she is calmed. And the two images of the 50s style, like, you know, good old like Johnny Rocket kind of a thing, or the more modern one that has maybe some vague connotations to some other things are presented. And she seems to be a little bit emboldened with this choice. And is guided into leaning forward and looking closely at the details to make sure that nothing could be missed, for her input is very valuable. Now, Cheryl, this is your cue. As you have Brittany, who's facing down, you can very quietly walk across the carpet, and you have been given first sip. Would you like to describe how you are feeding?
No, everything's prim and proper here. So she will step up behind her calmly, and while she's distracted, gently tilt her head and take a bite. She will drink only what she needs. And then if Mr. Hayes needs a sip, she will let him go next. And then once the moment is over and she is cleaned up, we use cloud memory to make her forget just this part of the interaction. And then we'll continue on with her evaluation.
As you get that initial fang puncturing the skin, she didn't see you come around, but there was that... As your fangs sink in, and it seems to be quite a distracting experience for Brittany. As she succumbs to the hunger that you have, you lick the wound, sealing the injuries. And as you've been taught, you reprogram her a little bit. Of course, she's sent off with a thank you for your contributions and your input, as well as a very kindly bottle of water. In order to, you look a little pale. I hope you're doing well. And in fact, thank you so much for your input. Why don't you take the rest of the night off? And she agrees. Yeah, She's not feeling any injury. That saliva from the lick has a certain property. But she agrees and says thank you. She seems to be very grateful. And with a few probing questions, both you and especially Eric are confident that you have fed without consequence. Because one of the earliest lessons that were taught was about the Masquerade, and how absolutely important it is to never, ever breach it. To the point that even your own sire has told you that he is personally and by the laws of the kindred bound to destroy you if you do. Now, your evening goes well. You are topped off as you can be, but Cheryl, there's always been this nagging hunger. There's never a fullness. In life, you aren't too far removed. Man, there were those nights when you would come home and, oh, you had a big meal, or just, oh, I need something to just not feel full. You've never quite felt full ever since you turned. But this is as close as you can come. You're topped off, and it is time to depart and walk back to your apartment before the sun rises. As not only do you have some personal things that you need to tend to, you also need to make sure that you are in a safe place to sleep. So dismissed. You... Hey, I did it first time. You go back home. You have your nice apartment overlooking a city. Dawn will be arriving in maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Man, these summer nights are short. But you did what you needed to do. Maybe you feel happy and confident. You even have, it's a little hard to tell, but you even have a little bonsai tree here, right on your desk. And how does your night close?
Well, I finally close all my work things, put that aside for later. Make sure that my suit is pressed for the next day if I have work. If I don't have work, I'll pick out the outfit for the next day. Or next night. And then I will tend to my bonsai, making sure it has water, pruning anything that is growing not to my liking, and then place it by the window so it can get sunlight.
You place it by the window so it can at least get some light. And as you do, the chair you were sitting in actually makes a bit of a rolling clatter. Not that it was knocked over, but there's a noise. And as you turn, there's a figure, a very dark figure, sitting in your chair.
Excuse me, I believe you have the wrong card.
I believe I have the right apartment. Cheryl Page, childer of Eric Hayes. And I believe that I have something for you.
And what would that be?
The thing that appears almost just like a silhouette. That there's a shape, but it's very hard to get any kind of discerning details. But you can still see an arm reaching in, and on twisted, sharp fingers, a letter is handed to you.
She'll take the letter, using one of her own nails. If it's in an envelope, would open it that way.
Yep, it's in an envelope, and there is a wax seal, very old-fashioned style, red wax seal on it that you can easily pop off. And the seal bears the crest of the sheriff, the law enforcer among the kindred in Cleveland. An official of the court, arguably the direct enforcer of the prince himself. And you have been summoned to appear before the sheriff. You are given directions, a day and a time, well, a night and a time, to meet, where you will be picked up and transportation provided to you. And you are to clear your schedule for this night, as this is an official writ. You may show this to your sire as proof, and he should recognize the authority it bears.
If you'll excuse me, Miss Page.
The chair scoots away, and this tall, gangly shadow of a person just walks out of your apartment, uses the door, doesn't, phase through the wall. Ghosts. Who
Make
even
sure you
believes
use
in that
back
stuff?
entrance. She'll just give him a quick instruction because she knows a certain tenant of this apartment would be rolling in from their graveyard shift soon. And she'll sits at her desk and checks the schedule, moves a few things around, and sends a vague message to Eric that something happened and she needs to, move a meeting or however.
Very good. The sun rises, and so you set. And apparently you have a meeting with someone. Now, meanwhile, elsewhere, yet within the same city, just a different part of it here. We have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Lit up and beautiful. One of the big tourist attractions. Some might say a tourist trap, but one of the big tourist attractions to Cleveland. A city of rock and roll, among other things. And a car pulls up outside the museum. It's late and the museum's been closed. But there's a woman waiting on the sidewalk. I would like to know the car that pulled up outside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Clyde.
Coming on up to her is a Chevy Corvette, bright red with yellow and black decal streaks. It's been modded to be able to hit 100 in just a hair's breadth. Feels really good going down the 90, watching the sea coast. But it's especially nice for ladies. We're all about that kind of need for speed vibe. I mean, after all, who can necessarily deny the top star of the racetrack? Going along and giving her a polite invite. Make a whole show of it. Let her know she can take a couple pictures of it. After all, it's not like she's gonna have a chance like this again. This is kind of the way I like to work things. Now, the whole masquerade is something I fully comprehend. After all, it's hard to ignore it. But not all of us were programmed to sit and hobble around in the dark. Especially since I'm not even supposed to be dead yet. Supposed to be. So, she makes her way in, and I take my usual scenic route. The highway is a beautiful thing, especially weaving in and out of the late night traffic.
Tell me, Clyde, do you even know the name of this sweet piece you got riding shotgun? Or does it not even matter?
Most of the time, it doesn't really matter. They come in, they come out. As far as I know, she's just my little giggle of a fling for the evening. And I am more than happy to oblige to her pleasures.
As you make your way to, well, this is a beautiful place, but this isn't your territory. You're getting there. She opens up, and you get a lot of this car and all these other things. And man, if if this type of woman just can't shut up about how nice the things you have are, duh. And about petty bullshit. She works at some place quick and eerie that makes loans or something. She just recently got off her shift as well. And God, like every just insipid, like, ugh. My boss is literally Hitler. It is, and she's just going, and all the people in my office pool, and is just, I can't even deal right now. You know what? Fuck it. And like you can even see Quick and Eerie, the big tower up in the distance, and she just gives like a big middle finger right up there.
Hey now, precious. Look here, and Clyde will use. I think I have awe. Let me double check. Sorry, I can't see anything. Dewey. We don't, Captain. We just have Daunt, but that's okay. Because what Clyde's gonna do is, he's just gonna be like, "Oh, look here, little lady. It's all right. Look, how about you go ahead and just release all of your stress here tonight with me, myself, and I. We'll make things work out. So you ever got to return to that? Easy. Cheese. I'm gonna make sure you get a night you'll never forget."
All right. Tell you what. Why don't you give me? Powers are cool, but sometimes things can just be resolved through your own natural or supernatural skill. Why don't you give me a persuasion, or are you trying to? Do you want to try and
I'm trying to get her.
Redundant as it is, do you want to cow her by intimidating her into shutting up and enjoying the ride, or what?
No, I'm just trying to get her to focus on the situation right now. She can talk all she wants, go on and on about her work, but what I want her to focus on is me. And I want her to focus on this ride, and I want her to focus on
charisma and persuasion.
Then, yep, roll it.
Mm-hmm. I, once again, can't see. I should get better glasses. Charisma.
Yeah, give me that charisma. Hey, all right. Yeah, I'm sorry, Clyde. That place just makes my blood boil. You hear that? You hear that, Eric Hayes? And that cunt Cheryl Page? Fuck both of you. You see where I am? I'm riding shoddy with a hottie.
Damn straight. And he just floors it straight through, cutting, weaving through traffic. As soon as he does, he makes sure that it hits hard enough that she's just like, she's got to like grab the oh shit handle.
The music turns on, and the cruise begins. Why worry about what life is doing to you when you got an open road ahead of you? The lights of the city are just apparently a hot mess, and there we go. The lights of the city are a hot mess, and you're making your way. Yeah, you got to go a little bit slower at first through the streets of Cleveland, but there's some nice highway going through and around. And at this time of night, Independence Day, it was busy. But this time of night, you know, the games are over. People they might be downtown at the bars staggering out, but they're not here. You know these streets, you've known them when you were alive, and you've probably gotten to know them even more. Well, maybe we shouldn't talk about you not being alive, because you're not even supposed to be dead yet. You hit it, and you are cruising. And you are getting that wee-haw, and she is having the time of her life. She looks over to you, and she says, "Oh, do you mind if I smoke?" And she
Smoke
reaches.
on, baby.
She
Smoke
reaches for
on.
the cigarette behind your ear.
And Clyde just like he lets her take it. Absolutely. And he just points to a lighter that's in the little cargo piece that's like in front in the driver's seat in between passenger and drivers.
It is a wild night. She's smoking and smoking hot. She is filling the seat beside you, and is having a time.
Yeah, go ahead. Sit on the windowsill there. Yeah, Clyde will roll down the windows. Let her be able to put herself out as much as she wants to. Get the full breath of the air, night air, and the lake breeze, as it were. And as he does so, he happens to look over and notice there's a vehicle. It's riding on up next to him. And trying to take speed and take note. He's in no way not being slow. He is speeding down this highway already, and there's another vehicle that's trying to match speeds with him. Clyde has done this so many times. This is par for the course. This is a street race.
The car pulls alongside. The piece beside you is out the window, and she is absolutely she pulls down her top. "You want some of this? You better beat my boyfriend! Woohoo!" And she is just two tits to the wind, and the car beside, which is a very universal signal that it's on.
It is on. You might want to hop back in, babe. We're about to hit it. Yeah, he just basically like grabs her by the arm, pulls her back in, and as soon as her butt is planted, he just like pedal to the ground, going. And he is going to go ahead and like take those turns fast as possible, so that he's making sure like he is drifting. As he turns, you can feel the car just like the back wheels sliding across the road.
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the city of Cleveland, Cleveland has a lot of really good highway access, including State Route 2 and 90, which does a fun little thing. Isn't it funny how a highway can make an almost 90-degree turn? And the locals of Cleveland have a special name for this piece of highway. It's called Dead Man's Curve. And it's earned that name in the history that it's been a part of Cleveland. And so
Clyde has got the wheel. He's completely like just pulled back. This is his element.
You are not... Well, I'm going to imagine you're not going to obey the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit posted for Dead Man's Curve.
Oh no, he's probably hitting 120 at this rate. 150 even. Like this Corvette was modified to go stupid speeds.
And your rival, who's fighting for that bag of blood, I mean that human beside you, is not wanting to slow down either. And so it is on. And I wonder, will Dead Man's Curve earn its name once more tonight? So, Clyde, I would like you to please make a drive test. And this is going to be a particularly difficult one. This is a hard-earned name for this piece of highway. So, if you know, I don't know how frisky you want to get, or if you're like, well, I'm going to treat myself to a snack later, so maybe it's time to get buff. You tell me what you're doing before you roll this this difficult drive check.
All right. First things first. Rapid reflexes. There is but one thing that has come in handy through this whole process. It is being able to know precisely when I need to make that turn. And it all comes in slow-mo. A little bit like the Matrix, the way that power just kind of hacks into the whole scene. Everything flows smoothly past me. And I know precisely what I need to do. Aside from this, everything else is all skill, baby. This is my expertise. Street racing.
Bring it.
With this particular system, can I use drive wits?
I am... As you're definitely a native, and this is something that that you are a part of here. As normally this would be an issue of reflexes, but in this case, you're not really weaving out of traffic. This is a piece of road that's been this way for a long time, and it ain't your first rodeo. So this is more about the feel of the drive than the avoiding the potholes and avoiding the other cars. So yeah, okay. In this instance, I will allow a drive wits, because this is you feeling the vibration of the car through the tires, through the steering wheel. This is you listening to the hum of the engine, as you know, or to the resistance, the brakes, emergency or otherwise, as you're applying it, and you're gonna like just almost like drift around this 90-degree highway corner. So yep, you can make this through wits, absolutely.
Okay, and then +1 for my specialty. Submit. I don't know the difficulty, so I'm just gonna put 0. Bonk. And if I could, how many successes is that?
2.
Just 2? I am going to willpower that because I can.
Alright. It's not enough. More.
Gotta hit it harder.
It is not only survival, but it is also beating this other person.
That's 4.
Nice.
And
oh. Your passenger, whatever the fuck her name is, it doesn't matter. Right now, she's just adding to the soundtrack as she screams and is and where she was taunting this other person before, she is clutching the oh shit handle. She's clutching the seatbelt. Like she's like pushing her feet against and like ah! As that sweet, sweet music to your ears, Clyde. Like your tires are smoking as you are going right around Dead Man's Curve. And your rival doesn't do so well. There is a screech, but unlike the acceleration that you get in the last half of that turn, there's also a shkabang as the car impacts the guardrail.
He just looks over to the passenger. You all right there, Toots? Holding on? He just puts his hand on her leg. He just smiles. Don't worry, babe. I'll take us to safety. Don't gotta worry about a thing.
As she, you're like, yeah, I got this, and she's like forward. As you have managed to loop around here, and you've hit it, and for sure there's a car wreck going on. But as you are hitting that gas now, as you get back on the straightaway after this severe hairpin, and oh, look at that, the Academy of Fetish Arts is off to the left. That's for later. That's not right now. Damn it, Clyde, stay on target. Now, you hit it. Boo, boo, boo! Boo! As you are getting initial chirps, and there's a flash. As, well, this also ain't the police's first rodeo with late-night racers. And especially as, well, they will be called to this location. There was one probably here on the lookout to, try and curb the enthusiasm of people like you. Trying to cause a little bit of a thrill and a stir, and, well, now a bit of a disaster on the highway.
This is unfortunate. No. I think some of our fun is gonna end up being cut short here. Don't worry.
Are you gonna pull over?
Nah, babe. I got a plan.
Okay. And what's the plan?
Yeah. The plan is Clyde, knowing the layout of the city, is going to try and lose the tail of the cops by taking a couple alleyways. Different routes. And we go into more populated streets, weave in and out of traffic in such a way that they get stuck and he continues.
Okay. I want you... So, where we had before a bit of a swap. Instead of going Dex Drive, we went Wits Drive. I am going to call for the Yang to the Yin. And in this instance, as you are trying to lose them, I want you to make a dexterity streetwise to navigate through the streets using your knowledge, not just of the alleyways, but the usual hot spots or where the police have been known to set up a speed trap or other things.
All right, if I might, I'd like to do something a bit wild. So I got a feeling blood is going to be good tonight. I would like to surge for an extra 2 dice to the pool.
The vitae in your veins flows, boils perhaps.
Sir, that's a success.
Let's see if you beat him.
My ability to roll dice right now is bungos, so I'm gonna do another willpower because I actually do need to get away from the police.
Okay. Get it all once more. That focus. Everything is just almost like a bullet time here to you.
3 dice. Three successes, Captain.
All right. Well, wait. 4, correct?
4? Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because you got now. 1 was your hunger die. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they are. They're still on to you, not by much, but you haven't lost them, as they did pretty well here in setting things up. Whether they were expecting some sort of a race night or it was just actually, if I recall correctly, it's almost the full moon has its own reputation, but maybe under the cover of darkness they're expecting these things. So they're still on you. Now what I can do is a bit of a time-honored tradition, at least in the way I'll present it here, to at least tie them. And in this case, I would give the success to you, as you're the one trying to escape. I can offer a cost, succeed at a cost, as it were. And now, how this is going? This is redundant for you as a player, but for those watching, in times like this, where the mechanics might have failed, but it could be an interesting story moment, where we ask ourselves as players, is the juice worth the squeeze? Am I willing to pay a price to achieve that which I most desire? And so, what I will say, Clyde, is you may succeed and ultimately foil your pursuers. However, it is going to cost you effectively the car needing to be in the shop for a while, as you horrendously scrape and dent going through places and around corners. Will the sparks fly so you can get away?
Well, she's my favorite. Can always get a spare, so.
Boys at the shop might know what to do.
Boys at the shop. Alright. Just to make sure that, if anything else, the cops don't be coming up after me anytime soon. Losing tonight, bright another day, right?
Sounds good to me.
I'll take it.
The deal has been struck, and so the story changes. Where Clyde had police just on his tail, over the course of weaving in and out of alleyways, narrow streets, bangs and bumps, potholes, going over roads or through neighborhoods that normally Clyde wouldn't be caught going through if he could help it. But he can't. Not tonight with what's happening.
Every time he feels a scrape against the car, he just, like, audibly cringes. Ah!
Yeah. Well, hey, you and your piece over here are both screaming then, as she is the sparks are going up over the sides. But you've done it. You have shaken. You have successfully shaken the pursuers. And so I thought I had something pleasant here for you, but I guess I didn't upload it. Well, I thought I'll tell you what. I'll use an asset that I didn't have uploaded. Instead of unless it was down here. No, I guess it wasn't. So instead of the... Well, now where was the thing I was going to use? It was play... There we go. And boopadoo. Now, here, you're not back in Playhouse Square, though you've been here before. Lots of fun stuff happens at Playhouse Square. Though, we'll use this as at least as a placeholder. As your car somewhat grinds, it's not making the purring and the grumbling that it had before, but you do pull into a park alongside the Cuyahoga River. It is rather dark. Definitely there's no one else out here. You haven't been chased for a while. There's, no obvious police presence. And you're able to park, and at least, you may not want to, but you should at least get out and take a look at your ride. By the way, does your car have a name?
We just call her the Missus.
The Missus? That works. So you and the Missus park, and you get out and you tend to her. There's that other thing in the front seat, but that's not important right now.
He just feels the scraping. He's like, I'm sorry.
Sorry, baby. She's actually in a bit of a stupor. She didn't pass out, but she's just laying back. Her eyes are wide. Her hair is frazzled from the wind that was still blowing through it. And she probably even still has one boob hanging out. And it's she has a little bit of drool. She might have even peed herself a little bit. As she's just in the front and just absolutely floored at what happened. She's alive. She's definitely breathing very heavily. But you get out. You touch the car. But, you don't sweat, but man, that chase kind of left you with a bit of a thirst.
It was a close one. He comes around to the passenger side, opens up the car, and just kind of puts his hand out, pulls her out gently, before putting her up against the car, arms on both sides, pinning her. So, was it a night to remember?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna tell everyone on Twitter about this.
Good. Go ahead. Tell them all about the sweet night you had. Wonderful ride. In exchange, I'm just gonna take a little bit of a piece of you. Sound good?
Oh, I'm not really into exhibitionism. I mean, I guess the park is kind of just going around, but still, oh.
Well, don't worry, babe. We'll keep it about as PG. After all, I think you had a pretty R-rated night so far. We'll keep it clean. And he goes ahead and gently lifts up her chin, does a couple nice sweet kisses before going in for the blood draw.
She whimpers as your fangs pierce her. She holds on, and there's almost a breathy gasp. I thought you said this wasn't going to be lewd.
And he's just going to take as much as he feels like he needs for this moment. And then once he's done, that said, taking advantage of the little bit of euphoria, a little bit of the brain goop and memory loss of the whole situation, he'll just direct her back into the car. And he's going to take her to a location that they agreed on before.
Before you
Small
do,
motel.
You're helping her, and she is just absolutely post-orgasm. She's a wet noodle right now as you get her back into the seat, and you gotta buckle her in.
Place a towel down.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're gonna need it. As you're doing that, there's a tap on your shoulder from behind you.
And he will go ahead and look behind him very quickly, almost startled.
Clyde McCoy.
It's no policeman that you know. No policeman almost has this shifting, unfocused self. There's a person, but it's like a dark, staticky image to your eyes.
Sweet baby Jesus. And he basically just throws this girl into the passenger seat, slams the door shut. He takes his keys out and locks it.
Jesus
What?
has nothing to do with this, Clyde McCoy. I'm here for one thing.
And he begins to reach into a shirt pocket, a coat pocket. Are you saying or doing anything?
He's looking at this whole situation. Gosh, I'm trying to think. He has heightened senses, but that's about the gist of what he can see supernaturally. He doesn't really do any of that though. He's just like trying. He's trying to get a gauge on what he's looking at, really.
Well, something that is not a kind of a shifting, almost nauseating appearance. Just almost like looking at a form of seasickness in front of you. But a letter with a red seal is pulled out of the pocket and handed over to you. And it has the seal of the Prince of Cleveland. I'm sorry, the sheriff.
Apparently you're wanted. Don't be late. Arrange whatever you have to, and use the letter to whomever supports this. That is all.
All right then. I'll try to make a good impression.
And the figure just blends into the night and leaves. And you can take your, you can take your meal back home to the designated drop-off.
What did I do to deserve the disrespect of that appearance? God, interrupting a man during his meal?
What did you do indeed?
And Clyde looks back, just kind of like peeks back into the vehicle for a second, checking to see if she's still like, woo-woo.
Yep, everything seems fine. The rest of your evening is going to pass by with no further incident, except you probably upset about the car.
I'm sorry, Mrs. I really tried. Well, no worries, baby girl. We'll get you the help you need. You may just go ahead and take the broad back. And we'll take you to a doctor. And he goes ahead, gets everything squared away, gets this girl to a motel. Make sure that she's all paid up for the night. And takes his vehicle to the chop shop. Finishes up with that. Make sure to get a replacement vehicle. Not as nice as the missus, of course. But the resources he has, it warrants it. And that's it. Brushes off the dust, the debris, and hopefully some of that ugly off of him. Sheriff. Not exactly a court fellow, but I do make a nice face to keep around in a hearing.
Now, at a different place, a different time, in the same city, In fact, possibly even somewhere along the line of Clyde's drive. In fact, it might even be, Ivy, as you've gotten up and you had some work to tend to, but you're feeling a bit hungry, and so you end up hitting the streets. Now, where you've been living, working, you're not in the high rises. This is a more common part of town. Though, man, if that Corvette didn't just fly by, you probably had to throw yourself... In fact, you know what, Ivy? I'd like you to actually throw yourself to the side and try and get out of the way. You need to dodge as whoever this crazy, just bat out of hell driver is willing to like go up on the sidewalks, even like scraped against the brick close to where you were walking. Can you Dex dodge for me?
Okay. I'm willpowering that.
Okay.
That is just that's no. Ouch.
Okay. That's fine. That for purposes here, that is going to be enough. But so as you were walking, talking to yourself, thinking about things, there was just this, and this Corvette, and was even followed by a like not immediately after, but you saw even some police that pulled up like at the end of the street. Now, Ivy, as you're walking here, and we'll get into what you've been doing while you've been out thinking. Are you helping the police at all, or it looks like they stopped. They might be looking for which way that Corvette went. Now, I don't know. I don't know about your character, about her morals, or the way that she thinks, or what she thinks about. But I don't know. You got a decision here, as one of the officers stops and asks you if you saw a Corvette with black and yellow stripes on it come by here.
I saw a blur just long enough for me to get out of the... Don't know which way he went.
Can you manipulate for me, please? I need you to lie. Give me a sweet, sweet lie.
I'm going to rouse for this. Oh, thank God. Okay. I have this habit of running characters that don't have great manipulation skills.
Okay. Let's see. So 2 successes, one of those on your hunger die. But I don't believe that is enough to get you to think differently, to think outside the bun. All right. So in this moment, you have a bit of your own time slowing down, as maybe for just a moment your heart actually beats, the vitae flows through you, your mind accelerates, and well, hands you a card. If you remember anything, call. And they get back in and go back on patrol. By now the Corvette is long gone, though, so it was pretty cool of you to delay the police long enough for Clyde to get away. Not that you knew that, of course.
She's not at work. None of her damn business.
So now your night... your night continues. What are you thinking about? So beyond this just crazy-ass driver, but you know what? You live in a city, and when you get a lot of people in one place, a lot of crazy stuff can happen. It's a night in July. What are you doing? What are you thinking? And especially now that you're a little bit more hungry.
Well, she's got a choice to make. She came out taking her the rest of her night off of work to go get a bite, so to speak. She's got a choice, because not only does she have her sire's territory she can hunt on, but her adoptive father, she found out, is kindred as well. And because he is such a wonderful man, monster, somewhere in between, she doesn't know, he's given her permission to feed on his well. It just means she has to report into him more often if she does. So she's debating. Stick close to her sire's territory and closer to work, or have to see her adoptive father sooner than she really wants to at the moment. I think she'll stick with her sire's territory tonight.
You find yourself in the musings. And off in the distance, rising above, well, you got a couple floors up that you can observe, think, kind of clear the air. You can see the Quick-and-Eerie Tower and its glowing lights. The sign. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to add the crashing wave on the top of it too. You can see a big blue wave. Also, that's just kind of like doing a little animated motion at the top. Kind of like a beacon, though one that you sound like you're resisting for now.
Yeah, Daddy Darius is probably busy tonight. She doesn't want to bother him with small reports of how her hunting's going. Besides, they have dinner plans over the weekend anyway. He checks up on her occasionally. After all, she was meant to be his. And
How does that
then
make you
plans
feel?
changed. There's a part of her that's upset. She had been being prepared for it, trained a few months ahead of time. And then all of a sudden he found someone else. Someone more suited for what he was looking for. And so she stuck by him as a servant, a ghoul, before being handed off to her sire, Edward Cavian. Sorry, mosquito.
It's fine.
But at the same time, she's unsure. She's known this man since her early teens. He became her father. So she's torn. Does she go back to the man who raised her? The man who was to be her sire? Or does she stay away? And it's these unsure feelings and these little voices keep bringing up the fact that of what could have been. That drive her to stay away for the night.
I know you don't appreciate the circumstances, Ivy, but I do want you to know that you are always welcome. As you hear your father's voice, and it feels like he's been beside you during this, though quiet. It's when you stopped your introspection that you did get this challenging support and even this feeling of a hand on your shoulder. Though, when you look, there's no one beside you.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that. She's lightly hitting the sides of her head, trying to get the voice to go away. It's not fair, goddammit. Go away.
If you don't want me to go away, you can always come to me, Ivy. We can always talk.
You're not him. You're not him. He is a few blocks away. He does not have that ability. You are not him.
Maybe getting something to eat, a quick bite, might take care of this. After all, you had a near final death. That was the term I believe you were taught. The final death. The actual end, and not just the first that you received in your embrace. Maybe getting something to eat might help. It has before. I mean, being hangry is a thing. Maybe you're not so hangry, but...
Nerves aren't supposed to bother us anymore, and yet here they are, still pestering me. At least I hope that's what it is. If anything, it'll prevent me from being a mess later.
Now, Ivy,
Jeez.
from your vantage point, I don't know, what are you looking for in your meal? How is it that you are going to go about recovering both your composure, your thoughts, but from everything you've felt like you've been mired in?
She is looking for someone she could easily pull into an alleyway. She's not strong on her own without, having to use more of her blood.
Mm-hmm.
So she's looking for someone weaker than her, perhaps another woman,
Okay.
perhaps an elderly person.
Okay.
And when she spots them, she's going to quietly walk through those alleys, getting closer, until she can reach out, grab them, and pull them into the darkened street.
So it does take some waiting. It takes some patience. And perhaps that was time well spent talking to yourself and even your father, who was and was not there beside you. Though, conveniently, when your conversation had ended, there is, let's see, there is an older man, certainly of supposed grandfatherly age. And with the hour, this person has had a little too much. Not stumbling, bumbling, but definitely, is has a bit of a slurred speech as he's speaking on his phone. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, I'll be there. Can't a man just go and have a drink? Yeah, I know. I'm ready for it too. Just get it over with. It'll be a fun celebration. It's fine. And if the dog's gonna freak out, just hide it. But it happens every year. Yeah. I know it's those damn hippies. And he's turned from there. As he says that, he's like, "Hang on, I gotta look around. You're not supposed to say that stuff anymore. I gotta look out for them danger-haired people. Hold on." And he seems to be scouting back and forth. Alright, I ain't gonna get canceled on social media for saying that. But you gotta... I know... Hold on, I gotta piss. Just... If you want to talk, that's fine, but you're... Yeah. Yeah. I don't care that they're protesting. Alright, fine, whatever. I won't be long. And he puts the phone, he tries to put the phone in his back pocket, and it slips, and it slips and hits the ground. Now, during this time, Ivy, if you wanted to sort of come down from your introspective perch, you certainly had the ability to do so. And you were privy to his loud rantings. And whatever he was talking about with whoever he was talking to here. If you are trying to be sneaky, unless you're not, I am going to need you to stealth.
Yep, she's going to be sneaky.
All right.
Coffee, so I believe that'd be what, Dex stealth?
Yeah, you can do a dex stealth.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, there we go. That's better.
All right. You have made it behind this person to the point where he dropped his phone. Now, he hasn't noticed you as he goes to try and pick it up. If you want to pick it up for him, you may, or you can just let him continue. But we are at the point now where you are behind this person who is about ready to bend down and pick up his phone off the sidewalk as he's just turned into a side street or an alleyway. What do you want to do with this situation?
She's going to let him continue, but before he gets far bent over, she's going to come up behind him, clamp her hand over his mouth, and pull him further into the alley before biting into his neck.
Okay, before he picks up the phone?
Yep, before he picks up the phone.
Okay. So now you're gonna need to grapple him here, as you or similar, as you pull him back further.
And goody me, I've got a specialty in grappling. That is 3 successes, sir.
All right, 3 successes. I'm not going to roll a counter against that. You have someone who's slightly inebriated and wasn't in the... I'm sure he'd tell you back when he played high school football, you wouldn't be able to do this to him. But those days are long gone now. And in his days of high school recreation are not going to save him from you in this case. You bite him, you pull his neck to the side, you do bite him, and you do drink from him. Now, are you... Just a bit? You go in,
She's
until
taking...
you feel full, or...
She's taking just what she needs.
Okay.
And then using cloud memory to erase the last few seconds. Make it seem like he may have passed out from however little he's had to drink.
All right. Let's see. For cloud memory, do you need to rouse for that, or is that just can that just go off?
There's no roll against mortals, if I remember.
Oh, okay. Yep, that might be. I don't have all of the disciplines memorized. Yeah. And by the way, for any of you who might want to play VTM, Same with other systems like D&D. You don't have to memorize every spell. Okay, it's fine. Now, he is very much mortal, I assure you, in so much that when you pleasurably bite into him, he does lose control, and if anything, it actually will add to the fact that he is passed out, as, well, Clyde got just a little bit, but Ivy, you're going to need to, like, stand back a little bit, as he really kind of, he goes. But we have this elderly fellow who did completely pee his pants, seems unconscious with his phone. I don't know, do you want to pick it up and put it in his hand as he's slouched against a wall, or what would you like? You're going to leave it out there?
Nah, she's just going to kick it over his way, being sure to, whatever camera's on it can't really see her too much.
Make a as you're doing this, he is going to be murmuring something. He may not be completely unconscious, though. He is definitely he's definitely out of it of sorts. Do you have anything that might enhance your hearing? Because I'm going to be looking for what you hear.
Yes, I do. I have heightened sense.
Okay. Then go ahead and roll for that. This will be hearing-based, as he is mumbling something as you're kind of like guiding him down, and you're going to kick his phone over to him.
Alright, I believe that'd be wits awareness plus the aspects.
What's resolve?
What's resolve? Oof. Almost same pool.
Yeah, it's almost that's fine. You just have to live with yourself that you cheated for the rest of your life. So I don't need to do anything.
To be honest, the wits resolve gives me just one more dice. So it's not that I cheated.
I rule it as wits awareness plus aspects.
You're fine.
Yeah.
That's more than enough anyway. He's mumbling something about goddamn hippies and something about the salt mines and a protest. He seems to be grumbled, and maybe he used to work there or something. Maybe retired or something from the salt mines, or the docks at least, because he's talking about the ships. But anyway, you kick the phone over to him. He seems to be continuing his foul state, even in his like kind of zonked out mood. And you have fed the tower does loom over you. Not that you have to go there, but this is it is still there, if only as an echo or a reinforcement from what you were experiencing before. Whoops. Zoop, 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 zoop.
She's looking up at it, making up her mind. She is going to start moving toward it.
Oh, how bold of you! What has changed after eating? Perhaps was it some sort of a grim determination you picked up from this this haggard old laborer, or
her mind's calmed, and maybe they're at the end of the feeding. Her father's voice came ringing through her head one more time. She can't avoid him in her head. Outside of it, now can she? So she's gonna go.
You also have a special ID. Now, Ivy, as you show up to Quick and Eerie Loans, how are you received by the night shift? Do the people there like you, even know you?
A few of them know me. She's grown up in the building, so to speak. Always coming to see her father occasionally, and especially nowadays, after she picked up a night shift of her own. Some of them aren't sure about her. She's not an employee there. Why she? Some of them don't like the special treatment she gets. And others just don't care. They let her go through.
Ah, Miss Hayes, says the security guard as you present your badge to swipe in. Well, it's nice to see you.
Good evening.
Business as usual?
You could say that.
Well, you don't need me to tell you where to go. Everything seems fine.
Thank you for that. You enjoy the rest of your night. Be careful. There are psychos out in the road tonight.
Oh, really? Probably some... I don't need to get into that. Just summer drivers, we'll call them. Well, go on. You proceed, and you get to the elevator lobby here, and bing, you go in. Meanwhile, one elevator over, Cheryl leaves. Up, up, up you go, all the way to the top. How does the office pool handle your presence, Ivy?
For the most part, many of them are busy working, so they've always more or less ignored her. Unless, of course, she was walking through with her father and they stopped long enough to greet him, in which case they'd greet her in turn.
Okay. You make your way there, and you can go from there even further up. Since it doesn't look like Cheryl's here. In fact, you would be told that she just left. Does that bring you any sort of relief, or joy, or concern?
It brings relief. There's always been a bit of a tension between her and Cheryl. Since Cheryl's embrace. It's just better to avoid her most nights, if possible. She usually comes in when Cheryl's not scheduled to work. So just her luck that on a night that she is working, she comes in when she's already left.
You are welcomed into your father's office. Ivy! Oh, it's good to see you, and rather unexpected.
Well, voices come and go, and yours is figured I'd move up our little dinner date.
You don't sound pleased to see me.
It's not unpleasant, Dad, just still a little tense.
As
Still
you're having this
getting used to
conversation,
things.
I would like you to you're looking through, and yeah, you're a bit off, and this isn't the most joyous thing. It's not a terrible thing, but as you're piecing things together from things that you know, I would like you to mix up a dice pool of intelligence and insight for this.
Ooh. Interesting combo.
Yes. as this isn't so much of a feeling or an observation as much as it is a deduction of things. You have a very deductive mind. 5 successes.
Oh, that's a crit. Nice.
Okay. The person talking to you is... Well, you tell me how you handle it. As you're speaking, your mind is sifting through things. And where your father's sitting across from you is a figure that has a very staticky outline. Almost like someone is wearing like a full body like stocking suit that's dark and is just wearing an exterior of your father.
She's gonna look a little taken aback, noticing the change. She's not sure whether it's her mind playing tricks on her, or if that's not really her father.
Ivy, I'm glad that you're here, because I actually was given something to give to you. And so much the better that I'm the one who can deliver it. Here. And takes an envelope out of his drawer and slides it across to you. It has the it's an old world style, quaint, has a nice red wax seal, and it's emblazoned with the sign of the sheriff. I don't know what this is about, but whatever it is, I will expect you to tend to it.
It's an unexpected honor to be called by the sheriff.
I hope it is, because it can also be not an honor to be called by the sheriff. Though I suppose he could always send someone out to fetch you, in which case it's immensely worse.
Yes. I'll see to it as you were teaching me. Dad.
Well, why don't you get along? The sun will be up in not a lot of time.
Of course. And as she's leaving the office, she's keeping her eye on him.
Like,
Still,
you're holding it and you're backing away?
yeah, she's holding backing away, just not sure what she's seen.
Okay. Alright, so you back away. He's watching you do so with a curious look. You press the button for the elevator. And, boom, boom. It opens up. And in that moment, there's just almost that, because you were backed against it. You almost, you take a step back. Not quite that you were going to fall, but it startles you a little bit as that happens. You recover, look back at the desk, and there's no one there.
My head's playing tricks on me again.
And inside is a summons to be at a place at a time and to not be late, for you have been requested to show up by the sheriff. And the rest of your night is yours.
She returned to her own little apartment. Big enough for her and her alone.
Mm.
It's a 2-bedroom. She turned the second bedroom into her own personal little library. She'll spend the rest of her night until she needs to turn in studying, furthering her own research into new condition.
As one would expect a forensic scientist to do. And if nothing else, maybe being in the presence of someone of such esteem might answer some questions. Though it seems that there's an irony that, man, even in death, jury duty seems to suck. So. Another place, another time, the same city. A large city. A lit city. One that if you had the ability to rise above it, you would see a cacophony of streets. Like the veins and arteries and nerves running through a person. And cities are made of people. By them, for them. And so cities will behave as peoples behave, despite one being inanimate. And then we have this in-between. A corpse that should be inanimate, yet is habitated by what was a human. And so we have this person, this in-between, not risen above the city, but someone who's definitely familiar with ins and outs, ingress and egress, and the behavior of the people who live within it. Though this particular individual often dwells beneath it. And here we have Wade. Wade, you are currently in some of the tunnels that have been dug under the city, started by those who, had fled the law in various ways over time, if not fleeing slavery in the South, fleeing the Prohibition, or people who are running from other things or people, or unfortunately in some instances using tunnels like this to advance causes that may not be as ultimately legally nor morally just. But you're in these tunnels along with the primogen of the Nosferatu. And you're here because there is a last bit of information that she needed to get to you about a job you were going to be performing to continue to earn your keep after having to come and live in this, a bit of a halfway house for those like you who are somewhat newly turned, but have a special condition, that of, well, that. You don't get to look pretty like the others. You don't get to have the massive physical endurance of some others. You don't get to have the pretty looks. You don't get to have the nice friends in the upper places, in the towers, in the high rises, and the apartment complexes. Not that you can't, but it takes a little bit extra for you because of what you are. As the Nosferatu are a clan that have been stricken, such that you are all but a walking masquerade breach unless you go out of your way through means natural or supernatural to try and hide this part of you. But that's redundant. Obviously, you, being you, have known this. And I wonder how you've made adjustments or do with this or if you're even used to this, like it or not. But there's a little bit of time for that kind of narration and introspection soon, because right now you are in the presence of Madame Dulac, who is the primogen, the leader of the Nosferatu clan of vampires. And she's met you here because, like others, in a similar situation to you, there are things that she has asked you to do to earn your keep, as she's taken you under her wing and provided you hunting grounds, a place to sleep during the day, and was able to give you some guidance. Was able to teach you the ways of the Camarilla, which, judging by the appearance of the Warrens and the fact that there are there's the Ankh, the symbol of the Camarilla itself, on the walls in the deeper parts. She is a very loyal woman, and probably someone who herself had experienced the tunnels when she was alive for her own reasons. But those days are long gone as a mortal, and she has endured here, and has used that desire to help by helping you, this next generation. Now, Wade, I just happened to come into some information. And it would seem that tonight you are good to make do on what I had you on retainer for. There's a hot-blooded, young-blooded man similar to us, who has been getting awfully close to things that he not ought get close to. I don't need to tell you of the traditions, especially that of breaking the Masquerade, but it would seem that one of, your brothers here in the Warren was able to pass along some information that this particular man has been operating out of a blighted house and has been mixing his blood in with the drugs that he's been selling. And so far it has been a potent mix, but one that's been getting attention because it's a little too potent in the ways that it ought not be potent.
It's that Rolando Vasquez guy.
Yes.
So what's the news, ma'am? Madame Ledoc, your hospitality has not gone unnoticed. I really appreciate it. It's been very useful over the last 3 years, and I'd say without your assistance, Mr. Cronin might not have made it so long as he has. I'll make myself useful. I'll earn my keep.
You have so far, Mr. Cronin, and I expect you'll continue to do so until the day that you've earned your wings as a fledgling and will no longer need to stay here in my warrens. You can go dig yourself a powerful hole yourself.
I've had my eyes on some places.
Then I hope that by doing me this favor, you can put your eyes and your feet in that place. It will be sad to see you leave, but you know where to find me if you do need more work. Now,
Dead or
that said,
alive.
and she reaches into some very ample cleavage here and gives you a piece of paper that has some details. Not as explicit or as detailed of details as you would like, but it is enough to identify a part of the city where these drugs have been flowing. And she suspects that with that information that you would be able to do the rest. Now, she would like you, if at all possible, to bring back this young-blooded man, so that she may do with him as she requires. Whatever that is, this person needs to be returned not unalived. So,
Broken, not dead. Got it.
if you would kindly, you let
I like broken.
you let Madame Dulac worry about the details afterwards. I just need you to get him to me. All right, darling.
I'll make it happen.
I believe in you.
Miss Ladop, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna get busy. I got things to do. I'd hate to take up too much of your precious time.
It is precious, though, in an ironic way, as I seemingly have an eternity. But you're correct. Go. You don't need to sit here and talk to me. You have work to do, and your own goals that you can strive for by doing this for me. Such is the way of us, after all.
Such is our way. If you'll excuse me, Madame Ladop. Tips his hat.
Now, Wade, you don't need to suffer your storyteller's narrations any longer about the city, about the, perspectives of it. You are left alone right now in the Warrens to walk, talk, think. What are you doing in this moment, now that it is just you?
First things, it looks like Wade reaches behind to scratch his ass, but he actually pulls out a small book and a pencil, and he starts writing down some notes. Pulls out a small scrawled map with squiggly lines showing the ways through the Warrens that wouldn't be noticed by someone else. It would just look like a bunch of squiggles on a page, but he's got a way of notating things. He's been doing it for decades, following people, skip trace, and you know the way of things. Just finding people is not so difficult. People like this thing called social media. It's useful.
It has made a lot of your work immensely easier.
Been checking out this Rolando Vasquez guy. I've already sent his wife and kid an invitation to join him at some funkin' dinner at some fancy-ass place up in Midtown. That'll leave him and I a little bit of private time when I get to his abode.
Now, I don't know if this is going to be a complication for you, Wade. The way that Madame Dulac had been talking about this person was heavily implying that this was someone who is like you but not. And while you are certainly, you were not a young-blooded individual before your embrace, but you have come to know that there is a type of kindred who has one leg in kindred society and another leg in kind society. Instead of someone that lives in the darkness, they live in the twilight, or even, as some have been rumored to do, even the dawn. This is someone who, while he has a wife and kid, seemingly shares not the traits of a ghoul, as you've been taught that they're called, but someone who was maybe a failed embrace. Opinions are mixed, but this is a person who is halfway there. And so do with that as you will.
I got some provisions to pick up. I need a ride. He pulls out a old this crumpled piece of paper with a phone number on it. Makes his way to the surface, anywhere nearest that has a payphone handy. And he dials the number.
An
One given
exceedingly
to him by
rare
Madame-
thing to find in these nights, by the way. A
Madame
payphone.
Ledoc.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Just told if he ever needed a ride that this was the number to call. No names were given. Just call. So he looks around. Is there a phone? Is there people lurking about? It's dark.
Yes, you are able to find a way to communicate with your ride. This is something that, being a very unique clan among the vampires, there is a certain camaraderie. Maybe no less suspicion, but there's still a foundational camaraderie that the Nos seem to share. Because whether they like each other or not, oftentimes they must share similar spaces. And so there is much, especially in your few years of being a kindred, you have been able to perform for Madame Duloc, and as such, you have, as she tells you, have become a favorite of hers. Not nearly as ornery as some of the others, who,
Yes.
this came across as a threat too. She herself had to put down for violating the laws. But you've been a very good boy, Wade. And so your ride appears. No questions are asked, save where to.
The car in question rolls on up, and it's Clyde.
There's seemingly no one at the location that was given to you on a geotag, but there's an indistinct on the vehicle. There's a tap on the glass, almost out of nowhere.
Now in his brand new, luscious Porsche, he rolls down the tinted windows, still looking around, kind of like peeking his head out the window. Hello?
And dropping unseen presence with my face clearly in the window.
Yo! Jesus!
Driver.
Why you folks gotta be like that? Why you gotta do that?
I'll take that as a yes. And he opens the door himself, lets himself in, and closes it, rolling up the window.
You're just getting in? Oh, God.
It's just, Wade.
Let me put a
You
mat
call
down
me,
or something.
You call me Wade.
If this helps for timing, Clyde, let's say that this is actually before your hot date. That you are called to service, which is probably making you a bit eager. I mean, obviously you've been up, but you're back in your Corvette and it's in perfect order. But you got a job to do. You don't want to not do it, but man, you got a hot piece waiting for you after this job at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wait.
This thing got a trunk?
Yeah, I was just about to suggest.
Great. Let's go to Walmart. I'm going to have you get me a few things before we make our next stop. And he hands over a piece of paper with a list. It
Hold
looks
on, who said
something akin to a Dexter scene map.
Clyde just takes it and scours it. Hold on, who said anything about me doing any of that business for you? I was just... All right, fine. We're gonna make this quick.
If it's a problem there, pretty boy. He reaches into a pocket and pulls out a stack of $100 bills and drops $1,000 on the dashboard.
I don't need your money.
Well, fuck you then. And he literally just pockets the cash again. Walmart. We got to go. Time's ticking.
Fine.
Well, Clyde, you get to be the coolest car at Walmart. How's that? That's a big ego booster.
It makes me nervous because folks like to break into shit in them parking lots. So
Nobody touching this car while I'm sitting in it. I promise you that, pretty boy.
yeah, my certain complaint right now is that you're touching it.
Yeah. You got one of them cell phones, yeah? Mind if I use it while you get the list? I gotta
Yeah.
Google a couple of things.
He just Clyde goes ahead, hands it to him, but as he does, he also pulls out some like sanitary napkins. Also puts it on the dashboard.
Wade doesn't even bat an eye at the gesture, takes the phone and starts clicking away. You got like 10 minutes and we got to roll.
We're rolling. We're rolling.
Don't forget the suitcase, it's important.
Wait. What in the... God.
It's just a list. Go shopping like everybody else.
Why am I taking orders from you?
Please?
Clyde, while you're using, or not Clyde, Wade, while you're using Clyde's phone, there's a, and there's a message. It's just simply HAYYYY, which is perhaps the sluttiest form of saying hi. Like, this girl is probably super desperate. But you get a hey.
Oh, I wait for Pretty Boy to walk away, and then I send a dick pic.
No!
And I get right on with trying to find the information I need. I start just going through the troops of finding out where the best shit is, where it's being found, where it's being set out, who's got the best, and just I'm looking for Mr. Rolando Vasquez. I've already got his address. I just want to make sure he's on his way home.
All right. So you navigate around. You drive out to Walmart. There's a little bit of conversation back and forth. Clyde, boy, every time you look over at Wade, like, you don't know if he's dripping anything, but man, that's
God, that same roadkill looked better than him.
Me too.
Hey, BBUTHER. Wade, whoever Clyde is talking to is apparently a functionally illiterate adult.
Don't be texting anybody.
Just Google it. And after getting whatever information I need, I hand it over and give an address. If that's possible. I imagine that it's possible to get this information pretty quickly, being Cleveland.
Well, let's have you stretch some dice rolling fingers here.
How about
You are looking
investigation and intelligence?
Yes, indeedy. As you're putting things together, you're cross-referencing a map. You're doing this and that. There's a little bit of a distraction because there's this person that keeps texting, but
you just turn over, you see Clyde texting and driving at the same time.
That would be a crit.
Oh, 4. Okay. Well, you are hungry though.
Yes, sir, I am.
Well, you are going to be very successful in doing so, but there's definitely a stirring. There's a rumble of sorts, mentally, emotionally, maybe even physically. But you are successful in doing this. As we are in the spotlight, though, I'm not going to have anything go wildly askew, as this is the getting to know you phase. But we'll say that there's definitely things that, I don't know, Clyde, like, for some reason, you get that effect maybe where, like, when Gandalf made himself super big and everything dimmed around him or whatever, like, you're just getting, like, a energy pouring off of Wade as he's putting this together. But you get an address. And, well, that's better than nothing. And boop, boop, you're getting that, hey, I'm here. OMG, look at the size of this guitar. Or like whatever, statue or something. And you are on your way because you have a date. You also have a hunger, a thirst. And let's... Not that one. Yeah, this one. This one right here. Now, Clyde, fortunately, the drive is easy and you're not trying to push yourself because this part of Cleveland ain't doing it for you. You are cringing. You are cringing so hard, one could argue you would be getting a negative to your dice pool if I had to have you roll anything. But the houses are blighted. They're marked for demolition. There's, graffiti, but like not even cool graffiti, just half-assed lazy tags. And whatever. But I don't know. Maybe you distract yourself in your car. And Wade, where he is currently, at least operating out of, is a shuttered, who knows, crack house, meth lab, all of the above. And in this case, something else, because if you remember, Madame Dulac was saying something about he was mixing in something to his drugs that was making it a little bit more than usual. And this isn't, this isn't cutting in something quaint with a regular joint. This is something that's a little bit more. But
Soon as,
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as soon as we get to address, and Clyde is just gonna stop the car, doors, do this automatic unlock. Looks over to Wade. Your name was Wade, was it?
Wade Cronin.
Wade. Name's Clyde. And there's a second pause where he's like, good etiquette suggests you should shake hands, but he's just like, he reaches over Wade and instead just opens up the door.
I'll just get this for you and I get the fuck out of my car.
Wade makes no mention but picks up one of the moist towelettes that Clyde had left on the dashboard, does a and then drops it on the seat as he grabs the suitcase full of goods, as I'll call you when I'm done. You gonna be around, right?
Maybe.
Thanks for the ride, pretty boy. I gotta go.
Pleasure's yours.
And closes the door and takes a quick look around. If there's no visible people or wanderers, is immediately going to go into unseen passage.
Sure. Is that anything you have to rouse for, or are you...
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just looking for... There's the button. Oh, goody.
Okay.
Wade's a lot hungrier than he thought he was. There's that grumbling voice in the back of my fucking head again.
Yup. For those of you out there who are watching, by the way, Hunger 4 is we're almost in super desperation mode.
It's not a good place to be. Listen here, we get this job done, I'm gonna eat that fucker's fingers. I don't give a damn. She said, broken, not undead. I will eat his fucking arm if he so much as blinks at me. Takes a big sniff around, like predatorily, looking for the scent of vitae wherever he can find it in the direction of this house. He's just... and he, if you could see him, looks predatory. He looks like he's hunting.
You're able to locate the house, and it would appear that you can. There's like some sort of a light on in there. Maybe it's a flashlight or a little lantern or something. There's definitely no actual electricity on to this place. Arguably, if there's any water or gas too, but some of the windows are busted and everything. But there's someone in here, and there's a very, very high chance that this is your target. What do you want to do?
Go to the darkest corner, find any entrance, check it for if it's locked or not. If it is, pick it. I'll climb in a broken window. I don't care.
It's not locked, though your investigator's senses would tell you that there's a good chance that there's probably something set up to be knocked over, like a glass bottle or some debris that you might step on. Whether it's purposeful or not, houses like this, they have a bunch of bottles and needles and tins of food and stuff. So you are going to have to be stealthy in doing this, so you don't accidentally snap something, knock something over. So that this is going to be difficult for you to do because you're not quite sure what's on the other side, but you got to get in.
Alongside of Unseen Passage, I have Silence of Death.
Okay.
So the passing of my footsteps goes unnoticed.
Oh, all right then.
It has no cost.
All right, so your footsteps would be ignored, but you can't knock over any bottles or anything. So I'll still need a stealth, but this would just be for, I don't know, like, oh, it was a cat because it wasn't the of a footstep or a regular pace of something.
Right.
So, yep.
But I would be super careful. I would definitely be using my stealth and just looking in before I go through an open window, looking for glass on the floor, taking a look around. Wade is not an uncautious person. He'll look for tripwires. He'll look for leaning pieces of broken wood that might be holding something up behind a shelf, or he's looking and he's following the scent.
Okay, well, go ahead and roll stealth as you're making your way through. Deck stealth. That's
deck stealth.
Yeah.
Okay. And that gives me 1 extra dice because of kindred stealth.
I'll count it. Yeah. I'm not sure where. Spoiler: it's a thin blood. I think they count enough, but that's fine.
I wasn't going to say it.
Here. What was that? What'd you say?
I wasn't going to say that it was a thin blood. I was going to let you say that.
It
I'm
is,
a BTM. I understand.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
was being coy when I didn't
successes
need to, but yes, we're talking
with a critical success or a messy critical.
Okay.
Is that a messy critical?
I don't know.
No.
You're asking the absolute wrong person.
No, that's just 3 successes on your hunger dice.
Right.
That's it.
Let's do this.
Aren't you glad you have a backup storyteller?
Mm-hmm. Okay. As you make your way through the house, you are getting closer to the room that is lit up, and it seems to be some sort of a camping lantern or the like. As as you approach and you're able to look inside this room, there's the person that you've been stalking for a while, and he seems to have some sort of a lab set up. So, yes, there's definitely drugs being processed here. But you also see that there is some sort of rigging where he has been extracting his own blood, and it is in some way, well, almost in a sense that you used old rum running tunnels before. Almost some sort of a distillery, some sort of way that he is just mixing in his blood with the drugs that he's processing. And you also see in the room that there's someone who is alive but shallowly breathing. The lantern is uses a little screw-in cylinder. So I don't know if it's a little propane lantern. Like whatever, because you can use it for the
camp lantern.
Camping. Yeah. So there is there's a flicker of fire in the lantern as well. That is lighting this place up as he is otherwise distracted. Apparently distilling or somehow chemically mixing his blood in with this other stuff. What are you doing?
I will creep within probably 2 paces of him.
Mm-hmm.
Loudly drop the suitcase filled with supplies. Flick out an expandable baton and tap him on the shoulder from my obfuscation, dropping my obfuscation. Rolando Vasquez.
What?
Don't. Eyes front, boy.
He
Hands
turns
where
around.
I can see them.
He turns
Hands.
around,
Hands.
grabs a gun.
All right. As he turns, I am going to, even at 4 hunger, I'm going to rouse the blood for strength.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yay.
And using prowess, which I have to rouse again for, oh, yay.
You neither have to breathe, nor do you sweat, but damn if you're not actually on the cusp of doing so.
Right.
You're running a dragon.
I am literally going to hit his gun wrist as hard as I inhumanly can. As if this thing were a sword, I am trying to sever that gun out of his hand before he has a chance to think. I told him no. He didn't listen.
Savage me. Come on.
So strength and melee.
Yes.
Or, yeah, that would be melee. And add my prowess.
Yeah, because you're not boxing him or trying to wrestle him or something. You're attacking with a weapon.
Beating him.
Yep, it's old fashioned.
I will willpower that.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I can only re-roll 1 because the rest of those are blood dice. That ain't right.
Huh?
I got a strength of 3. I roused to raise my strength to 4. My melee gives me 1. My prowess gives me 2 more.
Yeah, you rolled 6. You have 2 successes already.
Maddie, just a clarifying question. Are you playing with the errata, where the blood surge increases to 2? Or are you playing standard out of the core rulebook?
No, 2
I guess,
2 would be the standard.
so that gives me 2 more successes for a total of 4.
Okay. So just to clarify, rouse to blood surge would increase that to a 2, instead of a 1 bonus.
Oh, okay. Well, I rolled only 1. That's all right. I have 4 successes.
But
Okay.
going forward, yeah.
Crack. And you may very well have severed the wrist, or more appropriately, like the wrist bone. It is still encased in the skin as the hand just, and of course the gun drops as well.
Said no, and I rolled a swing again, swinging at his other hand because I'm sure he's raising it in defense. I mean,
he's gonna try and get out of the way. Whoops, that's not the correct command. And so he needs to try. He's trying to dodge out of yours. So I need more successes than you. So go ahead and take your swing, and let's see.
all right, so it's gonna be the melee again. Two extra, plus my prowess, half. So that's 3 extra dice. Okay. 4 successes.
Okay. Crack. He goes spinning as you smack him. He spins and goes down on the floor. The propane lantern spills over and may ignite the house, but not in the immediacy. But right now, you have a passed out, probably was diminished of blood to the point of passing out, person in this room. You have a lantern that's spilled and may possibly catch the house on fire, and then you have your target. What are you doing, Wade?
Oh, first thing, grabbing the lantern and holding it over over Mr. Rolando.
Okay, now
While
for that,
menacing him with another beating.
okay, for that, unless you have anything in particular that lets you ignore that intrinsic fear of fire, that is a Rotschreck test.
It is a
of
Rotschreck
your willpower
test.
In order to
Correct.
interact with it.
What difficult? Or I'll just put 0. 5 successes.
Woo! All right.
4 hunger will make you overlook a lot of things.
Yeah. So you look, and while this lantern is threatening to spill the fire out of it and catch the house, you reach, you grab it, you're holding it over him, and then you're doing what? You're
I'm
beating
threatening him with another beating, as I look like I'm gonna bash him with the lantern and set him on fire.
Okay. Whoops. The beating will commence. You have prevented the house from catching on fire, and by this point you have absolutely we'll say subdued your target. Now, the question is, you have the target. Are you doing anything with the little, like, chemistry setup he has? And what about the person who's sleeping on a soiled mattress in the corner?
Oh, first things first, I gotta deal with Rolando.
Okay.
I give you 2 choices, and I use the baton to push over the suitcase I brought with me. You can get in the box, or I'm gonna put you in the box. Either way, you're getting in the box.
Where am I going?
I don't ask if you had questions. I said, you're getting in the box, or I'm putting you in it.
Look, man, I got like $1,000 in my pocket. You can have it and just take it and go.
I commenced to breaking every major bone in his body. I commenced to breaking him until I can fit him in the suitcase. until I can fool him any way I can. I will continue to beat him. I will steal his $30,000 that he mentioned. That is mine.
He said 1,000, but we can dream.
Whatever he had in his pockets belongs to me, including phones, notes.
Okay.
I will pilfer him until there's nothing left. I will give in to my hunger, and I will drain the poor sod on the side of until my thirst is slaked. I will take the stain on my humanity,
Okay.
and I will take his life until I am not hungry ever anymore.
Well, he was already fed from, so there's not a lot. But if you're willing to kill him, then there's a.
I'm hungry, and it's hunger 4, and my beast is just telling me it's time to feed.
There is certainly a bit of a fulfillment that even the vitae itself cannot sate, as you drain the unconscious person fully, as this life enters you. Say what anyone will about the life that was led, but that is now a part of you. You have been filled.
Trash tastes like trash.
It is, probably not the best tasting, but, well, congratulations. You have 0 hunger. And you also have a body in the box. So it is time to beep, boop, 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 beep, boop.
I take out my notepad. I sketch as many notes about the equipment I see, any scraps of paper, any information, even the tags on the walls, the spray paint. I try and sketch little quick images of all of it before taking samples from whatever glass is in there, dumping it in a few Ziploc bags or whatever is handy. Before tossing the lantern over my shoulder as I carry the suitcase out, using his phone to call my ride.
Clyde, you get a phone call from a strange number.
Is almost immediately after getting everything done and said, what with the street racing and, fancy little letter and invite.
Yeah, time has passed. If you want to show up in the Porsche now, you can. But yeah, he's been stalking and hunting for a while, so.
He shows up with a Porsche now. Nice silver Porsche.
Again,
of course.
All you see is the beginning red embers behind you, behind where you dropped me off. There's like the red flicker starting in the windows of an obvious fire, and the suitcases on the end of the driveway. But you don't see me.
He's just like gonna come to a slow crawl before stopping right in front of the suitcase. The convertible hood down. He's just gonna look at the situation.
Again, there's that tap, tap, tap right in your moonroof, and Wade's face is there going, "We got to go."
Yeah.
Do you know how to get to the shipyard?
Oh God. Yeah, sure, hop in. I'll put the hood up.
You know Whiskey Island? You know Whiskey Island?
Do I know Whiskey Island?
Maddie? Probably. I mean, I can't say it's a hot racing place or a car destination.
It's across Old River from the Great Lakes Shipyard.
All right. Just, you know what? Just point me where to go. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that growing fire is going to attract more police too, Clyde, and you've kind of already.
Oh, this thing got a trunk.
He pops the trunk.
And as he chucks the thing in, you notice the suspension, and there's a muffled.
Yeah, the car just kind of actually.
Wade gets in and sits down. We got to go. Like, now.
What the hell are you pulling me implicative into? He just starts driving without any further questions.
The conversation can pursue, but you will get dropped off, Wade.
Box.
What's that?
What's in the box?
Yeah, right. What?
Everybody wants to know what's in the box. It's the wrong damn question, pretty boy. It's who.
You know,
I had to fold some poor sucker up because he wouldn't get in the box.
I'm not gonna ask any more questions.
Probably best. Oh, here, and he chucks $2,000 onto the dashboard. Thanks for the ride.
Clyde just grumbles to himself before he pockets it, but only after Wade has left the vehicle.
And you need to get back anyway because the sun will be coming up soon. Which Wade, the sun will be coming up soon, so you're not starting to get uncomfortable with the horizon lightning, but you don't have a lot of time to take your cargo.
There's
down
places to hide at a shipyard.
Yep.
For sure.
Now, after Clyde had departed, and you're making your way to where you need to go, the super duper secret entrance that you and the other Nos have been privy to. There is a figure waiting for you by the entrance to the underground place. There's the way that this figure appears will be very familiar, as this is seemingly a trick that maybe you have, or it's something similar to it, but this person does not appear to be not solid, not like an incorporeal, but just hard to focus on. Kind of a shifting, staticky look.
Wade Cronin. Yes?
And you are?
A messenger. One moment.
From?
You'll see.
A hand slowly reaches into a jacket. Are you doing anything?
Watching carefully.
All right. Pulls out a very formal looking envelope. Holds it out to you.
I take it.
Red wax seal of the sheriff is emblazoned on it.
Do what you will, but I would suggest that you be on time. Speak with Lady Dulac. Present that to her if you have any obligations. Otherwise, that should release you from them so you can perform your duties. Don't be late.
I never am. I got me a driver.
And the person steps away from the entrance, and you can pass by.
Before entering into the secret, I take the SIM card out of Mr. Vasquez's cell phone and pocket it.
Okay. You return the prize to Madame Dulac, and she does. She thanks you, and while you're technically released from anything that you owed for your current amount of time stayed in the Warrens, you can always retain yourself for future, or you can move on to greener pastures.
Madame Dulac, you got a minute?
Of course. What can I do? Though, while we don't have to face the sun down here, I don't need to tell you that it would be disrespectful to slump in the tunnels.
Yes, ma'am. I'll keep it brief. Hands over the letter to her.
What did you get into? The sheriff?
There was someone hanging outside our door, like he knew it was here. Delivered it. I ain't opened it yet. But since I ain't trying to get in on all these damn politics, I figured I'd let you have a peek. And oh, by the way, he reaches around like he's gonna scratch his ass again and pulls a notepad out and starts showing her some of the quick sketchings. We can go over this later, but I took some notes when I boxed up your, Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you. The extra credit will be noted. Though speaking of the notes, Wade, I can tell you this. You and I do share a similarity to the sheriff. Though I need you to know that when you see him, you are in his territory. I may be the primogen of our clan, but you have been summoned by an officiant of the court. Whatever it is that he needs to talk or discuss, whether or not you share a bloodline with him won't matter. You need to understand.
Understood.
Very good. There was no favor, and I can pull no clout for you. I don't know what this is about. Frankly, this surprises me as well. But that might be to your favor, darling. Because normally I know if people are in trouble, as I'm often the times that, I'm often the one who reports those who need to be brought before the sheriff. So, she folds it back up, hands it to you. I'd hold on to that. And as for anything else, we'll resolve it in due time, because, my friend, that's what we have. Now go.
Understood. We'll, next time the sun takes a dip below the horizon, we'll have a conversation. I'm sure you'll want to know what it is I saw, because I saw quite a bit.
You part ways, and your day sleep arrives. Though while you don't see the sun, and mercifully so, your body can feel it. Is it in your... what does it feel like to you, Wade? It might be different for other vampires, but when you feel that torpor coming on, you can't see nor feel the sun. Is it something in your bones, like how people say they can feel a storm coming? Does it tingle? Does it burn? Or is it just a sweet nothingness that overcomes you?
For Wade, it's an unpleasant peace. Because the only thing he's left with when that day sleep hits is that beast voice in his head. That one that's always urging him to the darkness, urging him to take that action that he knows pushes him just a little further away from his own humanity. He's still trying to hold on to it. It might seem like he's not, but he is. And it's that last thought every time he has to sleep of when that thing's going to take over again. When's that beast going to win that conversation? When that hunger is going to get just too much to handle. Because damn does it taste good.
And does that beast taunt you? Do you see your daughters in your dreams when you sleep during the day?
More than likely. It's more than likely a recurring nightmare of them just being snatched from their beds by people in dark clothing, soundlessly being whisked from their home and their mother and their father. The endless decade of searching, rooting out the evil that is back east that brought Wade to Ohio.
Then,
the trafficking.
As the unconsciousness falls over you, you just get that growling of something that seems like it's on your side, though you know it never is, of, remember what they took from you, Wade. Remember. And then the sun rises. And what we're going to do, I need to get up and take a break. At least a quick 5-minute one to refresh myself. We can come back, and then you all have a date with the sheriff that we got to go on before the session ends. Because he's a VIP, and you got to get to know him. You can't be late. So, everyone, get up, stretch real quick, get a snack or a drink, and we'll come back at least 5 minutes. Depends on if the players need a little bit more time, and we'll go from there. So, see you all soon.
Damn, that was fun.